This beautiful woman, while slowly dying and on the verge of drowning, sings a song. The person you see is Ophelia, a character from Shakespeare's Hamlet, who went mad out of love and ended her life as a result of her insanity. Despite being a death scene, the painting is excessively elegant, on one hand, with the vibrant colors of nature, and on the other hand, with the noble and beautiful depiction of this woman. The artist seems not to evoke sadness from this death, but rather portrays a sense of enchantment. On one hand, Ophelia holds a handful of carefully gathered flowers, but these beautiful flowers, once picked, will soon wither and decay over time. The weight of Ophelia's dress is evident as it meets the water. The dress manages to keep her on the surface of the water for a while, but as the dress becomes heavier with water, Ophelia is eventually drawn beneath the surface. So, who was Ophelia in love with, and why did this love drive her mad? The focal point should be the main character of the play, the walking paranoia Prince Hamlet. Prince Hamlet's father, King Hamlet, dies under suspicious circumstances, and the throne is taken by King Hamlet's brother, Prince Hamlet's uncle. The uncle also marries Prince Hamlet's mother, the queen. Prince Hamlet begins to suspect that his uncle killed his father to take the throne and seduced his mother. One night, Hamlet sees his father's ghost. This ghost father confirms Hamlet's suspicions, stating that the person who killed him was indeed his brother and instructs Hamlet to avenge him. After meeting the ghost father, Hamlet decides to take revenge on his uncle and kill him. During this time, Ophelia and Hamlet are in a romantic relationship. However, Ophelia's father and brother do not want her to be with someone like Hamlet because they believe Hamlet is not sincere in this love and is merely entertaining himself. Hamlet becomes increasingly paranoid about how to take revenge on his uncle, questioning why his uncle would commit such an act, and whether his mother's sudden marriage to his uncle is genuine or a figment of his mind. Hamlet struggles with his sanity, wondering how to take revenge on his uncle. His famous soliloquy, "To be or not to be, that is the question," reflects his deep existential crisis. He ponders whether it is better to endure the pain and suffering of life or to end his life and face the unknown. This passage beautifully summarizes Hamlet's troubled mind. We see a character caught between indecision and the profound human dilemma of life and death. Hamlet, who is difficult to categorize as simply good, experiences such profound human conflicts that it is hard to dislike him. His deep reflections on death are poignant, especially during a scene where he encounters a gravedigger and examines the skull of Yorick, the court jester from his childhood. This encounter makes Hamlet realize the harsh reality of death, how a once lively and jovial person like Yorick is reduced to a mere skeleton. This confrontation with the finality of death deeply unsettles Hamlet, highlighting his sincere anxiety about mortality. Throughout the story, Hamlet remains conflicted about whether to take revenge on his uncle or continue suffering. His complex personality makes it hard to classify him simply as a vengeful prince or a madman. His actions, including his cruel behavior towards Ophelia, contribute to her eventual breakdown. The breaking point for Ophelia is when Hamlet accidentally kills her father during an argument with her mother. Believing her father is hiding behind a curtain, Hamlet stabs him without checking. This event leads Ophelia to a tragic breakdown. She becomes increasingly unhinged, wandering around, singing, and handing out flowers. It becomes evident that Ophelia is mad, but she receives no support from those around her. The tragedy of her madness is not only her descent into insanity but also the lack of empathy from others. Ophelia's final act is to climb a willow tree by the river. When the branch breaks, she falls into the water and, showing a sense of resignation, lets herself drown. This conscious choice to die rather than a mere accident reflects her deliberate end. Ophelia's death, far from being romantic, is a tragedy. It is the death of a woman who loved an unloving man, was used by those around her, and ultimately lost her mind after losing her father. In comparison to Hamlet, both are melancholic and mentally unstable, but their madness manifests differently. Hamlet's madness causes harm to everyone around him, while Ophelia's madness only harms herself. Hamlet fears the unknown, what happens after death, how to take revenge, and what life holds for him. Ophelia, on the other hand, fears what she knows, Hamlet's insincerity and being used by those around her. This awareness leads to her terror. While Hamlet contemplates ending his life and the nature of death, Ophelia's madness and death are conscious decisions driven by her despair. Despite Hamlet knowing Ophelia's psychological state, he does nothing to help her. The flowers Ophelia distributes have symbolic meanings, reflecting her understanding of her tragic situation. For example, she gives fennel to Hamlet's uncle, representing deceit, and rue to herself, symbolizing repentance. Ophelia's death, then, is not just a result of misfortune but a deliberate end. It symbolizes the tragedy of a woman who, despite her beauty and innocence, is engulfed by the harsh realities of her world, leaving a lasting impact on the narrative of Hamlet.